So the Bible tells the story of a man named Job who suddenly lost his entire family, fortune, and health. As three friends approach him, they can barely recognize him, and so they weep, tear their clothes, and throw dust upon themselves. And we read that they sat with Job for 7 days, dwelling with him right there in the ashes of his life, without saying a word because they could see that his suffering was very great. This encounter begins with solidarity and presence, with dear friends showing that they will be with Job in the midst of his suffering. He will not have to grieve alone. I imagine those friends occasionally rising up to obtain food and water for Job, and then simply sitting there, returning to that seat right next to him, allowing space for his experience and emotions. This breaks eventually, as Job's anger at God erupts. The friends begin to tell Job that his thoughts and feelings are inappropriate. They lecture him and defend God and God's ways. They tell him that he should be thankful for what he did have in the first place. That faithful presence they had once exercised gives way to impatience and anxiety. It says their discomfort with Job's anger reaches a certain point as it just goes on longer than they would care for it to. The friends transition from treating Job like a friend towards treating Job like a problem to fix. It's not that they stopped caring about Job, but their anxieties are heightened by him and his feelings, and they respond out of that anxiety. It attempts to fix an uncomfortable situation that leads to words and actions that might mean well, but ultimately denigrate and dismiss the experience of another person. In this story, we see two pictures. One of faithful presence, honoring the pain of Job's grief process, and another that is anxiously trying to rush and short-circuit that process with platitudes that cheapen Job's experience, and with messages that make it clear that there is no room for Job's honest sharing. The story we tell about God is one who came in our humanity and entered our places of pain and sorrow, even to the point of death on a cross. God goes there with us and for us. Love was not shown in words, but by dwelling with us, meeting us where we are, and promising that there is no point, no time, no thing that will separate us from that love. We proclaim this good news, and we learn from it, and we model our lives after it, seeing that healing does not come from rushing people, but by patiently and graciously walking with them on their journey. And so as we encounter grief among those whom we care about, be aware of our own anxieties so that those anxieties don't take control. Be fully present and listen to the experiences of those who are suffering. Let them make room for their honesty, honoring what they are going through and feeling, not adding guilt to the already difficult emotions they are experiencing. One of the most basic needs of any human being is to be seen for who they truly are, and to know that their loved ones who have been lost will not be forgotten. Just as Christ walked with us in our brokenness, may we be present with one another through the full journey of grief, trusting in the long work of love's healing power. And just in the same promise that nothing shall separate us from the love of God in Jesus Christ, may we strive to show to our friends and neighbors that nothing shall separate us from them in the love that we share. Amen.